Hello and welcome to Walk the Pod, your daily walking show where I take my podcast for a walk because I don't have a dog. You're very welcome along. This is episode 3, series 50 of the daily walking podcast that tempts you away from your desk to walk in nature and pay attention to what's directly in front of you for just 10 minutes. This is the third of 10 daily walking episodes I'll be recording every day this week and every day next week. And this month we are basing the podcast around the theme of gifts. And today I want to talk about art as a gift and whether art is indeed a gift and what that means and what the obligation of the artist might be to put those gifts in the world. I'm fascinated to start talking about this because I think it will be somewhat divisive, and I'm fascinated to know what you think. Welcome to Walk the Pod. Very windy today, so apologies if there's a bit of wind noise on the pod. Got my microphone cover on my phone, so hopefully it won't be too bad. So gifts and art is the topic today. And first of all, is there a gift within every piece of art? Well, I think there is. And ideally, your artist is creating with a sense of abundance in mind, in order to create a gift for the audience or for one person or for themselves, depending on why they put hands to clay in the first place, or finger to keyboard, or finger to canvas, depending on what their medium is. And the reason that I wanted to bring you this idea is that I remember being really blown away by and moved by a pot that Grayson Perry has. It's currently being exhibited at the British Museum, and it is absolutely an astonishing piece of art. It's done in a modern style, but it's a classic shape, a ceramic glazed pot. And from Googling it before I started recording this episode, it's bright yellow with quite a lot of detail in blue on it. And so it's sort of vaguely reminiscent of willow pattern, but the colours are more modern and neon than that. And I remember that this was not particularly me sort of remembering this pot, but I was trying to think of examples of times when I've been really moved by art, because I remember as a young person visiting a lot of art galleries. I was very lucky to be able to visit a lot of art galleries, and I remember walking around them thinking, yes, this is all very nice, but I don't quite understand why some people seem to be sort of absolutely I don't understand what the fuss is about, essentially. But when I saw this beautiful, huge ceramic pot by Grayson Perry in the British Museum, and the thing is nearly as big as me, dear friends, I remember thinking, thank God Grayson Perry bothered to make that, because he could have not, and he could have just noodled around with clay and had a desk job like me and put nothing particularly into the world that was going to fundamentally change it in terms of art. And so I've missed Gratitude Tuesday, but my Gratitude Tuesday is to all the artists everywhere who labour with what could be called a burden of a gift, because once you identify that you have a gift, you then have to put your huge volume of work into developing it. And every single person who does that, I'm sure, feels compelled to do so. I'm sure they feel in some cases that they don't have a choice. I was talking about the artist Struthless, or did I call him Struthful? I can't remember, but I think it's Struthless, earlier in the series. And the artist who gave him the advice to draw the same thing every day said that he was an artist because he couldn't do very much else. So often artists are people who feel that this is all they can do, but nevertheless you still got to decide to put the huge volume of work out there. And you've got to put it out there as well. You can't just make it in your own home and not let anybody see it. Otherwise, is it even art if nobody ever knows about it? I mean, there are lots of fundamental existential questions in this, aren't there, about what is art, what is a gift? Is art a gift? Is there always a gift in an artwork? Etc., etc. And why do some people decide to make extravagant, huge, moving pieces of art rather than... I mean, Grayson Perry could have made small pots, like many potters do, in a normal way, and they may have been very beautiful. I don't know whether he would have become Grayson Perry if he'd done that. So there is a piece about making big stuff that draws attention as well. Anyway, not going to pretend I can get to the bottom of all of this, and I think I learned from the last series on patience that sometimes it's good just to put things to you without trying to over-analyse them. But I remember thinking, thank God Grayson Perry bothered making this pot, and I looked at it for some time and was grateful for it, that it exists for me to look at. So I guess there is therefore a question about whether if we have a creative gift, we are obligated to use it and to put stuff into the world with it. That is an interesting question, and I think based on my Grayson Perry experience, my answer would be yes, it is. It is a requirement for people who have gifts to develop those gifts and then do things with them which will help other people or move other people. And it's the responsibility of society to allow them to do that, and that's what we probably haven't got at the moment, is a framework around identifying talent and letting people develop their talent. We still exist in a very sort of, did I call it a capitalist hellscape yesterday? Yes, I think I stand by that. So there are many, many great artists out there currently who are not going to get to develop or use their gifts to their full potential because they've simply got to put bread on the table. So am I making a big kind of plea for universal basic income? Maybe. Did I say I wasn't going to analyse all of this? Yes, I did say that. So I shall pause there. What can I see directly in front of me? Well, it's time now, having given you a little bit of a moment to think about something else that isn't whatever you were doing this morning at work, to focus on what we can see directly in front of us, to bring our attention to the immediate moment, which Eckhart Tolle frequently said is the only one we have. And so I'm now focusing on what I can see directly in front of me, what I can smell directly in front of me, what I can hear directly in front of me. And it is quite windy today, so the susurration of leaves is what I can hear. It's also an extraordinarily beautiful day. I think we'd forgotten we could have a beautiful day this late in the year, but it is it's absolutely balmy this lunchtime. Blue sky, barely a cloud in it. And the breeze is very refreshing, and the sun is beaming down on southwest London. And in the distance, I can see traffic going across the end of the road. And I've got a car coming up on my left, And in fact, I'm going to double back on myself and walk back towards home rather than going up to the trafficy end, because that's just going to get very noisy. Thank you for walking with me, dear pod pals. It has been a delight to stretch my legs with you this lunchtime, to think about gifts and art and obligation, and whether art exists in two economies, the gift economy and the market economy. I don't think I even mentioned that bit, but that's something I've been thinking about. If art or gifts sparks you to think of anything at all, I'd love to hear it. Go to walkthepod.com. You can leave a voice note for Walk the Pod, and if you'd like to get more involved and join our Discord community and have access to a lot of behind the scenes stuff, including Friday blog posts and video and things from Walk the Pod, you can join the Walk the Pod lunchtime walk club there as well. I think the top couple of tiers are nearly full, but there might be one or two places you can squeak in should you so wish to do so. I can't wait to bring you episode 4 tomorrow, and we've got another 6 episodes after that, so we've got loads of time to think about all kinds of aspects of gifts. And take care of your beautiful mind, please, yourselves and each other, as always.